Once upon a time, if you can believe, a podcast of which one can hardly conceive. 3 sorcerers planned to take over the world, examples they discussed and plans they unfurled. When in an offence, if any are caught, what they've said is for humour, not actually thought. Sit back, relax, take in the narration, and enjoy this here episode of World Domination.
So welcome to World Domination. Welcome to the end of Season 2. I'm your host, the High Old Jim.
I'm your host, Amora, and I am the Prophecy.
And I'm your host, Matt Mordican.
Excellent. Well done, everyone. Good pun names today. Willow. I never remember how the Google guy pronounces it. Willow. So, as many of you will have heard at the end of our last episode, and it remains to be seen how the audio quality for this is going, but we're actually recording in person today.
Oh, hey guys.
Oh.
Is that what you look like?
Oh, I finally know.
Just for those listening, Jim is currently just waving.
Yes, I realise this is excellent for an audio medium, but wave to the crowd.
Hello.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. So how's everybody's week been?
It has been a bloody hectic week, and I ended the week with a massive night out last night, so I am extremely hungover. Macca's was great, but I do not feel good. Jim did buy ice cream, so that did help.
Thank you.
Which I did notice that the price of those have gone up. Bastards.
The listeners at home are looking to get a sense of just how hungover Emma is. She sent us this at 11:13 p.m. last night.
Don't hate me because you ain't me.
I think directly after it, I actually said, I'm going to regret this tomorrow.
You
and
did.
I do. It was a good night, though.
Such a good time.
Don't hate me because you ain't me.
How's your week been, Ken?
Oh, so busy, so much going on. Not a great week, but I'm happy to be here. Got ice cream today, so.
But you know what? You know how you just said that ice cream makes you happy? Do you know, this is completely off topic, but there was a article, because in New Zealand, on one of the dairies, I think it's with Streets or Peter's, one of the ice creams, they have a sign, and the slogan is ice cream makes you happy. Mm-hmm. And all the PC brigade are saying that you can't do that, because then that's telling kids that ice cream's good for you. And I was like, well...
And to be happy, you have to have ice cream.
Yeah. And I was like, well, no.
I mean, there's almost 100 years of marketing that say that cars make you sexy.
And they do. Or smoking is cool.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. So, today, we're talking about Willow.
What did you guys think of the movie, just from a critical level before we actually go?
Amazing. I really enjoyed that movie.
Emma?
I cursed that movie, and I cursed the individual who originally voted for it to make it one of our choices.
And I found it decidedly average, so we really span the gamut here.
It was the worst movie I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of terrible movies. It was bad. I think I was messaging you guys in the middle of it, and I felt like 12 Years a Slave, that was me.
Yep.
And the movie went for 2 hours.
Yeah. And that was at the 10-minute mark.
What are you talking about? It's got the 4th best Batman in it.
I didn't think...
5th best Batman.
I did not think that Val Kilmer, could get any worse than he was in Batman until I watched this movie.
That's what he's famous for.
Famous for, yeah.
Okay, I thought Val
Actually, his
Kilmer.
big break, he played Iceman in Top Gun.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah, look, he was better in that.
You can ride my tail anytime.
All right.
Yeah, that movie's a weird, homoerotic nightmare.
All right, then.
My dad loves that movie.
Top Gun?
Yeah. As soon as he got... Because he used to be in the Air Force, but as soon as he got... really good speakers at home, he would just turn that movie on and just blast the beginning scene where all the jets are going, and just sit there on the lounge chair just staring at the TV.
Are our dads twins?
I think so.
When my dad discovered that surround sound was a thing, and he went and bought one, he's like, gotta fucking go and get Top Gun. Where's fucking Top Gun?
Seriously was. I remember back in the day, he got all the surround sound speakers and literally placed them around the room. Got his lounge chair, put it in the middle of the room, and just He would just play the first 10 minutes over and over again. But getting back to it, Willow was a fucking terrible movie.
Wait, sorry. Willow was a fantastic movie.
Hey, it was terrible.
What about the giant double-headed penis dragon didn't you like?
The double-headed dragon penis puppet, whatever the fuck he said.
Okay, I didn't like that either.
The whole thing, there just was no storyline. Well, there was, but it was the most rubbish thing ever. It didn't make sense. And you just I feel like you need to give the spiel of what the movie is about, Jim, and then we can rip it to I can rip it to shreds.
And Ken can extol its virtues, and I can say there is worse things that you could do with your time, like develop a heroin addiction.
Look, a heroin addiction is worse, but this is up there.
I mean, I got the high, but I didn't get the addiction. So it's like the best of both worlds.
It's like heroin without the in.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just hero.
Hey, I need a hero.
The one thing about being in person recording this is I can look you in the eye and shake my head at you.
Just look at me with dead, cold shame eyes.
Oh my god.
Willow is a movie where the story was written by George Lucas, but not the screenplay, nor did he direct it. If you're familiar with George Lucas's work that came shortly after this, like the Star Wars prequels, some of this might sound very familiar to you. Or even some of his early work, like the original Star Wars. So, the story
is very well known for Star Wars.
Yeah. No, but just the general story structure is very similar. Anyway, so
it's very similar to every bloody fantasy movie, though.
The titular character, Willow Ufgood, and we're starting very early with the George Lucas tradition of having very unpronounceable and unrememberable names, is what is called a Nelwyn, which is this universe's version of a hobbit, basically. So the story goes that the person who plays the titular character, Willow, Warwick Davis, met George Lucas on the set of Return of the Jedi, where he played one of the Ewoks. And George Lucas thought he was such an interesting person that he decided to write a movie for him. And so he wrote this.
Congratulations, you get Willow. Did he like him? Questionable.
He definitely liked him. 100%.
Yeah, I imagine it might be a bit hard for someone like Warwick Davis to find leading roles, because Warwick Davis is a little person or a dwarf. But yeah, he does quite well in this movie, considering the fact he was 17 when they filmed this.
Yeah. I don't mind him.
Yeah, there are much worse actors in this movie. Val Kilmer for one. The fucking Queen.
Val Kilmer.
Anyway, so.
I'm a really bad judge of actors.
Well, who do you think is a good actor? And who do you think is a bad actor? And then we will tell you.
Oh, actually, I don't know actor names, so, I think Val Kilmer did a good job.
Well, I mean, it's a shit movie, so, I'll cut him some slack in that. He could only do so much.
Joanna Whaler?
I mean, I got the cast list up.
Saoirse. Actually, no, but she had red hair.
Wally.
Wally, yeah. She had red hair in the movie, so she's by default amazing.
She could have not said anything at all, and you would have still been fine with it.
Exactly.
Anyway, so the movie starts with a text scroll. Again, we're talking about George Lucas here. Starts with the text scroll giving us some backstory. There's an evil queen. There's a prophecy that a child born soon will vanquish this queen, and that peace and prosperity will be returned to the land. Again, it's another vaguely medieval Lord of the Ringsy kind of setting.
Yep. So
there's a baby born, and it's hushed away in secrecy, and it ends up through a strange series of circumstances, ending up with Willow Ufgood, who goes on this quest to deliver the baby to safety.
Throughout the journey, he met Mad Mortigan.
Yep. So Mad Mortigan. Do we ever find out what his deal is?
No, he just appeared in a cage.
Yeah, so
along the side of the road.
Val Kilmer appears in a cage, and that's all the backstory you get for him. He's just
he's just some thief or something like that, and then I don't know.
I thought his name was Mortigan, but he was mad. But apparently his name is Mad Mortigan.
Yeah,
I thought he was just a crazy person locked up, but apparently not. So
again,
also
George Lucas does not think about this sort of thing when he's writing his stories.
He has a prophecy.
He writes them down and doesn't think about how it's spoken.
That's enough backstory for everything.
It's just such a shit storyline. But yeah, so after that, after he meets him, it basically that's they're just on this weird journey to then get
to deliver this baby.
the baby Allura. Yeah, to get the baby Allura Danum to
Somewhere. I don't really know.
I think they were trying to get her to safety, and then the baby got kidnapped.
Oh, so their quest was just to like drop her off with the first person they found.
Yeah.
And
Which
then-
was Val Kilmer.
Which was Val Kilmer.
And then the crow bloody stole it off Val Kilmer. And then they got into the bloody woods.
Yep.
And there was
brownies
the
and a bird
brownies.
stole the baby, took it into the woods, and then when they were in the woods, Tinkerbell came along and saved the baby, and then they met the goddess.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was just and brownies are would you say maybe the size of a
If you've seen Fern Gully, basically that.
But what if you haven't seen Fern Gully? Just asking for the listeners.
or like Gulliver's Travels. I kept thinking of Gulliver's Travels as I was watching it because they
yeah.
were like tied up on the ground and all these brown like little very small people running around, and I was like, this is just they just got every movie just
Yeah.
wrapped in one.
Like any fantasy trope you can think of, it's in this movie. The evil queen, the chosen child, the halfling who'll save the universe, wizards, the scoundrel with a heart of gold. What else is in there?
everything.
A weird sled chase down a mountain on a shield.
Yep. Got it.
Got it? Check. What are the other fantasy tropes? Oh, turning into animals. Kindly old wizards
Yep.
who are like secretly like not that good at what they do.
It's just too much. It's
all
just
of these
everything
classic
in one.
techniques to put in one movie.
Any trope
Amazing.
you can think
It's
of.
just-
You know what? It's probably
in
where all these techniques came from. 1988. You know,
You
it's-
don't think
where
that
is
any
it?
of these things existed before
Nah,
1988?
clearly, this is the original. This is like the OG of fantasy. That's why it's so good, guys.
But essentially, once they're sort of on,
This is the like cuneiform tablet of fantasy. Okay.
once they're on the run, then the Queen's army comes and like steals the baby because she can't kill the baby. She has to do some sort of.
I don't
like,
get that. Why does she have to? She says she has to exile its spirit into the netherworld.
Just
I
kill
don't
the
just
baby.
kill the baby.
I really don't get that. I think I just get confused.
She's just a baby.
Maybe if she doesn't do that, it reincarnates into the next baby.
I mean,
Yeah, but then you just keep killing the baby every time it
Crap,
comes
guys.
back,
You
and
can't
then
just keep killing babies.
Well, you
it's
know.
just one baby because it's
Okay.
got the mark on it, so you know which baby it is, and then just keep killing it, and then eventually she'll die anyway.
Well, you scare them away, so they flee to the South Pole and they're flying bison and get trapped in a block of ice for 100 years.
Yeah.
Emma's looking at us with both shame and disgust.
That was a good end.
Oh god. Oh man. But look, it was.
Do we care about
terrible.
spoiling the ending of this movie?
No.
So the
1988.
the prophecy of the baby, like being the one to like vanquish the lady, the evil queen, is fucking bullshit. Because she gets vanquished by a fucking bolt of lightning when she like puts her hand up into the air.
She turns really old as soon as it starts raining. Of course, in these movies, it's always raining as it starts to come towards the end, and then it just. As soon as it started raining, it was like bloody Wizard of Oz, and she starts like melting and like turns into this old lady. And I was just like, I don't understand
It's
what's
just her
happening.
makeup running.
Yeah.
Just.
Also, there's one thing that I really wanted to point out. So they meet along the way. Part of their journey is they have to go and find this other magic user.
Raziel.
They have to go and find this other. What do they call her? A witch?
Ooh, sorceress?
Sorceress. Yeah, they have to go and find this other sorceress called Raziel, who has been banished by the evil queen to this island somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And if they can find her, then they can use her to help overthrow the evil queen. She's been turned into a muskrat by the evil queen, and they spend like a good 2/3 of the movie like trying to turn her back into a human with like magic. But there's one line which I have to ask. So, do you think the whole thing of her like changing from animal to animal, they did that just because of this one line? There's a part where she turns into a crow and they're following her around and she goes, "This way, as the crow flies."
Probably. I don't think they put that much
Oh my
thought
god,
into it.
my appreciation for this movie just grew a little bit more.
Although, with that though, apparently it's the first film to use the morphing technique that was developed by Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah, and they really
See?
fucking show
So-
it off.
OG. Everyone, fantasy
Right.
OG.
There's that one scene where it keeps turning into like
different animals, like
different animals.
tiger, dog, bunny rabbit, cat.
and then slowly like morphs into a human. It was just this old lady. Oh, it's so bad.
Didn't you say she was like a young lady, like when she was being turned from, that muskrat to
Well, she was a young lady.
Yeah, I think when she realized she was morphed back in, she realized, oh shit, like a lot
I've
of
been
time
in here
has
for about
passed.
50 years.
She's like, oh, okay. That was a lot longer than I thought.
Damn, that's dark.
Kind of like my life during watching that movie.
Yeah, this movie.
That's what I felt like I looked like at the end of it.
Awesome.
No, I just think for me that there was just too much going on,
But also not quite
but
enough.
not
at the same
enough.
time.
Yeah,
I
like it
know,
just
Yeah.
didn't hit the mark.
There's just so many different plot beats. They're like,
Yeah.
all right, we're going to go here, then we're going to go here, then we're going to
Yeah.
go here, and then this happens, and then...
And then when they brought in bloody Val Kilmer, they were like, I could see what they're trying to do around having this like guy that's
The swashbuckling
He went from very, very crazy person to very, very nice person really quickly, and that was like really
Yeah, he
he was like,
soon
don't-
after he got laid.
yes.
actually. But it's just kind of like, we're not going to give you the baby, and then like next minute,
Fine, here's the baby.
here's the
Like,
baby.
oh, this is too inconvenient. I'll give
If
the
you
baby.
promise to look after her, and then like next scene, they see the baby like being like, carried by a crow.
And Val Kilmer's in cross-dressing.
Yeah, I just
Yeah, that was unnecessary. Fun though. Also, there was a wagon chase. That was really fun.
Oh, yeah.
I found that super entertaining.
So should we move on to what we thought of Morta's plan?
Anyway, so she ends up managing to catch the baby, gets a ritual ready, but throughout there was people coming in to stop her, and she ended up dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's a very unglamorous death.
No.
Man, it's just like a fight scene at the end with the two old ladies
Yeah.
just going at
They
it.
were really going at it.
And Willow's off in the corner with his bloody wiggly piece of wood.
And yeah, imagine like a fist fight between like two geriatric old ladies, and like that's the climax of this movie. It's just like two like ladies who clearly have like very little flexibility or body strength.
Can I just say, if Damien hasn't watched this movie, just after that one sentence, he's now very much going to watch it.
Two geriatric ladies having a fist fight.
And what? Oh, also after that whole ordeal, what really got her was that sleight of hand trick.
Yes. I thought that was that was a good little callback.
That was
I
a
like
good callback.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give them that.
So, the start of the movie, Willow is, pledging to the magician's fraternity. And he's practicing his tricks at the front of this little fete that they're having. And his trick is that he can like make a pig disappear by like putting it through like a hole in the table that he's working on. And then he does that same thing at the end to like fool the witch into thinking that he's made the baby disappear. And it's a nice little callback. It's good.
Yeah,
That
is
bit
good.
I liked.
Yeah.
Everything else, yeah.
Everything else was awesome too.
Yeah.
Just and I think that the what was it? When they're at the castle, Val Kilmer, there was one man at this castle, and it looks like they'd gotten there 5 minutes before this whole fucking army arrived, and yet he'd set up all these bloody Home Alone booby traps, and he was like fighting off like a couple of hundred.
Yeah.
God, and it's just like, how? And then these bloody Planet of the Apes trolls appeared.
Yeah, trolls. What the hell?
Trolls,
Those
which
are
is
not
like
trolls.
Trolls, but they were apes.
reusing ape costumes. Yeah.
Yeah, when was Planet of the Apes the original filmed? Because it was probably before that, wasn't it?
It was before this, yeah.
They definitely reused those costumes.
Yeah.
100%. Oh, man. So I guess if we're going to be rating her plan, so her plan was that essentially, so she kept all the pregnant women basically in a dungeon until they gave birth, so that she could check this if it was a girl, if it bared
If
the
it
mark.
had a birthmark on it.
Yeah. And then I think it was that the midwife, they'd obviously they'd run and tell her that, hey, the baby's, we found it. And then she would perform the ritual.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So
That's her plan.
the one problem with this plan is that, pregnant women are not a finite resource. They're a renewable resource.
Well, I guess, and I don't know in the prophecy if it actually says, but was there like a timeline around what generation or when that baby was due to come, or was it just at some point? Because is she just like capturing pregnant women for years? But I think that's where it's just kind of like, I don't know.
Seers have foretold the birth of a child who will bring about the downfall of the powerful Queen Bavmorda.
Oh, so they've worded it that way.
Yeah.
So she'll bring about the downfall.
Yeah.
That's lame.
Told you, this movie is rubbish.
Simple yet genius. Excuse me?
Yeah, look, so I think, so that was the plan, essentially. So my rating of that plan is 0.
Whoa!
Like, maybe I'll give her a 1, because technically the plan, like, is okay.
Kidnapping pregnant women. I mean, you've got 9 months to figure out if someone's pregnant.
Yeah. And that's fine. It's a small medieval town. She's got people that go around. Like, I get it. And it was obviously working for her. They found the baby. But I think the issue was what she did once the baby was born. And that's where my plan comes in. But she just didn't have, the plan was shit outside of that.
You got any thoughts, Ken?
Oh, I think the plan was amazing, okay?
Tell me more,
So
Ken.
here's
Tell
the
me
thing.
more.
This is like, Bavmorda was already in power at the time. Okay, she was like, listened to the prophecy. She took out insurance, make sure she will stay in power, and then she followed through by putting in measures to stop someone from bringing her downfall. And she's basically she's taken in all the pregnant ladies. She's done all the homework. It's just like there's some security leaks, there's some problems. Like that midwife issue. But I think she's done her homework and she tried to fix it afterwards as well. So I think, 6, I'd say.
But also, right, that she was really dumb in that she was told by one of the foreseers or whatever that your daughter is going to
Betray you.
Actually, yeah.
And she was like, she wouldn't do that. And then that's the whole reason that they've freaking lost.
Supposedly her and her daughter is loyal unto death to her. And one dude calls her pretty and she's like, wait, what am I doing?
Look, I get that part. That's the one part of this I get. But no, it's just, you base your whole life and your whole domination plan or whatever on this prophecy that these foreseers, and then you have one foreseer that's like, hey, your daughter that you just had a go at, she's probably
the one that you belittle and demean all of her life.
She's probably going to betray you. Who also wears a bloody.
She might not be 100% loyal to you.
Oh my god, I can't even think of his name right now. The Mongolian leader, what's his name?
Genghis Khan?
Yeah, she wears a bloody helmet like Genghis Khan. That's all I kept thinking
Does
of.
she?
Did you not? Yeah, but look it up. Look at the picture of her. But that's all I kept picturing there was I was picturing, or maybe it's no, I kept having visions of Mulan in my head, looking at her in her helmet. Of
Do you want to come around here and see what the first image that pops up when I type in Genghis Khan is? And for the listeners, I'm going to put this in the show notes.
But the thing is, like what I said for Lord of the Rings, this is another situation where everything that could have possibly gone wrong went wrong for Bavmorda. That's why I think she deserves some positive points.
She does deserve some positive points, but where it's flipped here is Sauron had to do a whole bunch of things. He had to take over an entire world. Bavmorda had to kill one infant. I've said this to you guys before, but I don't know if I've said this on the pod. But a baby giraffe is almost a fully functioning giraffe. A baby human can do fucking nothing.
Are you justifying killing small children?
Look, I'm not here to take sides.
Sounds like you've taken a side.
Like I said,
You've definitely taken a side.
Like I said, I found
a baby and killed it.
Like I said, I found this movie decidedly average. What I think Bavmorda needed was more middle management.
Middle management, yes.
She had Skeletor. What more do you need? It's middle management.
There's lots of upper management and there's lots of lower management of the midwives. There's no middle managers to keep things on track, and I think that's what she needs.
Look, that's fair.
Skeleton Dude is a guy named Kale, who has a skull mask. He's medieval Kyle.
Do Do you reckon he drinks like Monster Energy drinks, like exclusively?
So what did you? So I gave her in the end. I gave her a 1. What did you give her?
You gave her a 6.
6.
5.
156.
Look, you know, she's fairly good at what she sets out to do. Like, she turns all the people into pigs at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like,
why doesn't she just do that?
yeah, I don't know. She like holds her own against another very powerful sorceress. She like,
I think that was one of the things that I was questioning at the end, because it's right at the end when things get heavy that you realise that she can do that.
yeah, she can.
And I just
like,
thought, why are you fighting all the? Why are you not doing that to start with?
yeah, it's the same argument with like Harry Potter that like when you have magic, normal logical means of doing things break down completely because you
Yeah.
can just like do whatever you want.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have any fun facts before we move on to our plans, Emma?
Yeah, there was a couple of cute things. Did you know those the weird devil dogs that they used?
They were just normal dogs.
They were just normal. They were Rottweilers and they had rubber masks on them. I felt so bad for them, and this is why Rottweilers get a bloody bad rap. Also, that Val Kilmer and Joanne Whaley, who played Saoirse, so they were love interests in the movie, but they actually it went off screen and they got married.
Aww.
I think.
I don't think they're married anymore, though. Are
No, I think they got divorced. I think it was 96 or something like that they got.
they? That's sad. That's not that long a marriage.
And another, which I think you guys will appreciate this one, was that there was a lot of livestock and pigs and that sort of thing around, and during a lot of the filming scenes, a lot of them were trying to mate with each other.
They just couldn't stop these pigs from firking.
So a lot of the there was a few crew members who like their job was to pour ice cold water buckets on the pigs just before they started filming, so that they
Put
would
that
stop.
on the resume. Professional pig cold showerer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anti-fluffer.
Oh, and I guess one other thing, so in there's this whole thing about Blackroot
Yeah.
and how it was like,
They
well,
say
you
that
can't give it to.
Once.
But, there
If
was
they
like-
bring it up once, it's never brought up again.
but it was like this whole thing of like, you can't give it to the Laura. You can't. They actually used vanilla
Yeah, so why not just call it vanilla?
because I don't know. Look,
Can you give vanilla to a child?
Was Blackroot not a real thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
but I don't know whether. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether it was actually supposed to be like vanilla. Like substitute. I think they just used vanilla because it looked like a Blackroot.
Yeah. So my rant that I wanted to have today
Oh, here we go.
is about something called The Hero's Journey. So George Lucas read this book in the 70s called The Hero with a Thousand Faces by a guy called Joseph Campbell. And Joseph Campbell came up with this idea called The Hero's Journey, which was that most myths and legends from most human cultures share a common story structure. And George Lucas was so taken with this idea that he put this structure into like most of his stories. So like Star Wars follows it, this follows it. What are the other? I think Raiders follows it fairly well, but not as much because he didn't have as much input into that as some of his other movies. So George Campbell came up with a series of steps to illustrate the kind of story beats that he was calling out. And one of them is literally called the refusal of the... Sorry. One of them is literally called the call to adventure, which is where the hero receives their call to do something heroic. And in Willow's case, it's when the baby comes floating down the river and lands on his farm. The very next step is the refusal of the call. And in Willow, it's Willow literally going, put that baby back on the river. It's not our problem. It's somebody else's problem.
Do you remember when the baby was Mosesed down the stream, literally wrapped in a fucking basket?
One of the other steps is crossing the threshold, which is when they literally walk over the line of the forest and meet Mad Mortigan.
Yep.
There's one called Meeting with the Goddess, and they literally meet a fucking fairy goddess at one point in this movie. Fuck. It's there's a step called Resurrection, which is where they bring Raziel back. It's just like he literally just got like the steps from the hero's journey and just went, okay, Willow does this. Okay, next step. Refusal of the call. Willow says, put that baby back in the river. It's not our problem.
Pretty much.
Like, it's basically like, it's a Mad Libs version of a fantasy story.
Ah. Yeah, I can totally see that in all.
That makes the whole thing make so much more sense. Just picturing it as a fucking Mad Lib.
It's perfect.
But I guess, look, if you found the award-winning formula, why not continue to use it?
Yeah.
Good on you.
People eat that stuff up. Oh, I did.
You got Ken.
Well, that was Joseph Campbell's whole point, was that these things are like fundamental to the human experience, which is why there's so many stories that follow that structure. But like, it's also one of those things that like once you see it, you can't unsee it, and you'll be noticing like refusals of the call and like meeting with the goddess in like everything you see.
Oh my god, that's why I haven't succeeded in life.
Because you haven't met the goddess.
Using the call. It's not working for
You
me.
just haven't met your goddess yet, Ken. It's okay.
Okay.
God.
Jim, maybe you're my goddess.
Gross.
Who's gone first today?
Ken.
Okay. I can go first.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I was thinking that everyone, like, not everyone really cares about the prophecy. Like, you can see, like, all of the adventures that these guys gone through. It's not like everyone's actively trying to find them. It's just the queen and the queen's, like, guard that's really attacking them. So I'm thinking, like, really, rein it back in. Don't let the prophecy go too far. People don't really care about it, okay? But, for those that care, you need to go, like, maybe give them a better, like, living condition. So clearly if there are people out there who wants her down, that means, she's not a great queen. So, one of the plans is to be a better queen, but how do you deal with the prophecy? So, okay, I'm feeling, instead of capturing them and putting everyone inside a prison, all the pregnant women inside a prison, you should give them like proper healthcare treatment. So everyone,
Did anybody have proper healthcare treatment back then?
I feel like Bavmorda should start this movement. Give them proper OBGYN treatment right here. Okay, everyone gets a healthy birth. Everyone trap all the ladies in via like this goodwill. So everyone who wants like a safe birth. At a time where childbirth is infant mortality rate is so high, it's important to have good birthing facilities, okay?
Why do all of your plans involve luring people somewhere?
Anyway, so, treat people nice, people who won't try to, like, overthrow you. And, when the prophecy baby finally comes, treat it as if, oh, this baby's changed my life. I'm such a, lovely person now. And then be like, okay, that's caused like the downfall of her as an evil queen, and also use her magical abilities that she displayed during the ritual to create a giant downfall of rain on the farmlands. That way, it covers all the grounds in terms of the prophecy. So the birth of the child will bring about the downfall of the powerful Queen Bavmorda. So it brings the downfall, which is the rain. The crops grow. Everyone's happy.
So you're using the word again.
Yes. Everyone's happy, and then people will stop caring about the prophecy because it's already passed, and then eventually maybe afterwards use the ritual to kill the baby. But don't worry about it.
Do you know what though, right? And I shouldn't be helping you, but if everybody's coming to her when they're pregnant because they're realizing that they get all this like 5-star OBGYN treatment, that you could create a like one of the routine things is that it's similar to what it is now, that is when the baby's born it gets taken away for a couple of tests and things like that. Once you realize it's the baby, it died during like when we were doing the tests, like we thought it was fine, and
then you get to the one that has the birthmark on it. You can kill her and be like, right, time to shut up shop, wrap it up, we're done.
Next. But it's not a bad plan. But I think you could probably use that 5-star thing and just, well, sorry, your baby didn't make it, because that way, if everybody thinks that she's lovely and giving this great treatment, and there's been so many, there would be ones that wouldn't make it anyway.
And that's my plan, everyone. With the help of everyone.
Yeah. I think it's not a bad plan.
Woo.
My plan.
Here we go.
So one thing that we see Bavmorda doing through the course of the movie is she turns an army that's trying to invade her castle into pigs. And you know who can't have babies? Pigs. Well, not human babies at least.
You can have pig babies.
Yeah. My plan is to turn all the women in the land into pigs. And that way, none of them can have any babies to overthrow me. And you know what we also see Willow using his pig for earlier in the movie? Ploughing his fields. Women can still be useful.
Oh my gosh.
Christ.
Woo.
Hashtag feminism.
Hey.
Yeah, but now there's no children.
Yeah, I only need to keep this up for like 10 years.
Yeah, but you don't know, the prophecy doesn't give you a timeline.
Oh, okay, that's true. Okay,
So it doesn't tell you. So you would have to turn all the women into pigs all
Tell
the
you
time.
what, the dude can bring his pig wife to me and say, I would like to have a baby with my pig wife, mistress. And I can say, it is granted. Sit over there for 9 months.
And then does she get to... Oh, so she doesn't have to be a pig afterwards?
No, she gets to go back to a pig after that.
But then couldn't you just do that in general?
Keywords.
Yeah, it gets to.
Couldn't you just do that in general without having to turn everybody into pigs?
So I turn everyone into pigs, is that what you're saying?
No, but like just not turn anybody into a pig and just be like, if they want to have a child, they have to come to you for
because
permission?
people could do it in secret and not tell me. I need to have
Alright,
a way for them to have to request it from me.
Oh. But what happens if the guys just get desperate? Because obviously, like...
And they fuck a pig, problem solved.
Oh my god.
This is like a magical kingdom. You're probably going to get some weird halflings.
Okay.
I don't see the problem.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any problems here.
Okay.
It works. But
Foolproof,
it's foolproof.
As a woman, I cannot condone this plan
I mean,
at all.
would it be better if I changed the man into pigs? Because
Oh,
men are
you know
pigs.
what? You know what? We can do that. Yes, we have the technology.
It doesn't really matter. It takes two to tango.
It does.
You're okay with men being pigs?
Hey.
I'm seeing some blatant sexism
Yeah, there
here.
is. I was okay with either being pigs, and Emma's just jumped straight on.
No, I don't know.
So what was your plan?
So my plan is, look, I think her plan wasn't terrible in that she had all of the pregnant women captured. So I think that she clearly had a good plan going. And the only thing I think that I would change is that when the bloody baby was born and they found it, everybody fucking rushed. There was about 12 people in the room during the birth, and then they all ran out to go find Bavmorda.
So what you're saying is more middle management.
Yeah, more middle management. But also the fact, like, labor doesn't go for 5 seconds. Like, go get her as soon as each baby is about to be born, just in case, because if anything goes down, she's there and she can actually monitor what's happening.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's not a very long drawn out plan, but she still doesn't have to, like in your plan, Ken, doesn't have to pretend to be a nice person because she's a dickhead.
Hey, oh yeah.
Nobody, love is love, so she doesn't have to turn anybody into a pig unless she wants.
I mean, nobody has to,
But that was your plan, Jim.
but it's for funsies.
But I just think it's just one slight change, and all she had to do was either be present there and keep her eye on that baby and do the bloody ritual right afterwards, or have more middle management that there was somebody else outside of another like peasant midwife. It was literally just the peasant midwife and the mother who were in the room with the baby, and she was like, "Don't let them take my baby." And she's like, "Okay," and then took her baby. And then Moses it down the bloody stream.
Also, how long was that woman running for? Because the baby grew like 4 inches of hair.
Yeah,
they
I've
were
read
running.
something that the baby was wearing a wig. Yeah, the whole time. Who the fuck
They had to
knows?
glue on with like honey.
Yeah, who the fuck knows what was going on?
Imagine that
understand.
poor
I
production
don't
assistant
understand
that had to go down to the costume store and be like, "Can I get a baby wig, please?
And some honey.
Extra small, please. And can I get some honey too, please?"
The sticky kind. Yeah, look. I think that's it. Like, just not. I don't like to think about this movie a lot, so my plan isn't
I've been thinking
like the
about
10 steps that I had or whatever it was for Game of
Thrones,
Thrones. But it's just, I just think that with that one, actually it's kind of like my Rumpelstiltskin one with Shrek, but it's just one small change, and I think it would have been fine. Like, just be there.
Be present for the birth of your child slayer.
And like, that's all you had to do. I don't even know where the fuck she was.
I mean, you basically have the potential for the same problem if you have like a rogue agent or like a spy in there. But I guess so do I in my plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not mine. Mine's foolproof.
I mean, you still have the same problem if like somebody clues onto your plan. Like if somebody finds out about the prophecy.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So the winner. So the winner is on 3. 1, 2, 3. Ken.
Yeah.
Yay!
Well done, Ken.
Thank you for voting for me, Ken, and not being sexist.
Thank you. I mean, I thank you everyone for.
Congratulations, Ken.
Thank you.
And this is even more special because we're in person.
Oh. Anyway, I'm glad to have provided healthcare for the women of medieval times.
Are you going for president? Are you Kanye West? Are you going for 2020 campaign?
Like the Academy.
Yes, we can.
Hey!
Oh, no.
Oh.
Alrighty. So this is the last episode for season 2.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going away for 5 weeks. So I don't know when our next episode is going to come out. Probably in the new year.
Yeah.
So I think, at least at this stage, we've decided that season 3 of World Domination is going to be a Disney theme.
Yay! Oh, hiya, kids. It's your boy, Mickey. I apologise in advance for any weird things that I say next season.
We'd like you all to join our Ohana.
Ooh, Stitch.
Damn.
A little bit of a sneak preview as to what you can expect. Really shit.
Really bad impressions.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, yes, we will...
be our guest.
Yes, be our guest in 2020. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Most likely, yeah. As Jim is going off on a long holiday.
Yeah.
And then...
I mean, we could have planned that better, but hindsight is 2020.
Hey!
All right, I'll give you that one. So we'll be back in 2020. So, yes, we'll be back in the new year, focusing on Disney. We haven't quite nutted it out yet, but it'll probably be, I think, old school. So, yeah, so stay tuned, friends. And I guess to wrap up this season, we have some awards to hand out. So I think best villain of the fantasy season goes to Sauron.
Yay!
Congratulations, Sauron.
You did it, you son of a bitch, you did it. So the next award is to our Dominator for this season. So who had the most wins this season? Are you ready for the winner?
Yep.
The winner of this season is... It's a fucking tie, you nerds.
God damn it. I tried so hard.
Aww.
So we will have to come up with a way to resolve this. So we'll probably do that towards the end of next season. If you are the kind of person that likes cliffhangers, stick around. It will eventually be resolved, I promise.
You know it will, because I will not let this go. I will fight to the death.
A wrestle for it?
No. All right.
Okay.
And our final award for today is for our best listener. So we thought long and hard about this one, about who we should
This
give
is
this award to,
exciting.
because we like all of our listeners.
We
all
do.
of our listeners that engage with us.
Yep.
We love you.
So this one, as Jim said, it was a tough decision, and we've gone through. Thank you to everybody for your messages and everything along the way. But best listener, do we want to do a bit of a drum roll for this one? Silencio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Twitter user Silencio.
And at the handle @Magic and Friends. Silencio, I think you were the tiebreaker in a tough call as to what this episode would be. So thank you.
Not only that, but you liked one of our posts while we were recording this. So how could we say no to that?
You sensed it. We're clearly on the same wavelength as us. So thank you, Silencio. And congratulations. You get this.
You get
call
our
out.
you get our admiration and respect.
We love you, Silencio.
And yeah, there you go, everybody. So now you know that there is going to be a prize at the end of each season. So at us. Awesome.
All right.
Cool. Well,
Thanks, guys. It's been a lot of fun today.
Been a good season. Nice to wrap it up in person. It's been good.
It's been a lot of fun to stare you down when I'm convincing you of my plan.
All women are pigs. Oh, gee. No, it's been great. Thank you for a great season 2, friends.
Thank you both.
We will be back in 2020 for season 3 on Disney.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.